I used to think you had to be a genius to draw from your imagination, and if you've seen Kim Jung Gi draw, then you probably felt the same way. And as an art school reject, I didn't think that was in the future for me. But in the last 2 years, my drawings from imagination have gone from this to this. And it's because drawing from imagination isn't a talent, it's a skill. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to build this skill as well. These are lessons I've learned from thousands of hours of drawing, but also interviews with the pros. And if you implement each of these things, you will see improvement that you're looking for because the proof is right here. We'll start with the most important exercise you could do today. It's one that Kim Jung Gi has been doing since he was 8, and it might clue us into why he's so good. The exercise is the daily highlight. Just think about a highlight of your day and draw it. Now, this deceptively simple exercise has so many benefits, but let's talk about the main 3. First is that it makes drawing from imagination easy. Most people think they have to draw super interesting, crazy compositions like these guys, but you don't. You just need to imagine a scene and draw it. Don't know what to imagine? Well, every single day there's a bunch of things you can draw. Had dinner with your family, maybe went on a walk. Anything can be a highlight because it's an exercise in translating what's in your head to the paper. Drawing from imagination is a muscle you have to train, and it's easier done when you make it a habit like this. The second benefit is that a daily highlight is an automatic teacher. And it's because when you try to draw your day, you'll surely come across some issues. Maybe you can't get your expression right. Maybe you don't know how to draw that room you were in. Maybe you can't draw a car. These are all threads you can pull to learn more. When you try to draw your day from memory, you'll quickly learn all the things you need to improve upon. And the final benefit of your daily highlight is that it makes observation a habit. And if you know anything about drawing from imagination, then you know how important observation is. When you draw your day from imagination, you'll of course go, man, I don't remember half the things I see. Maybe you draw cars wrong, or maybe you can't even remember how your door frame looks. These are all things that will linger in your mind, and the next time you're going around the world and you're looking at stuff, you'll start thinking, how would I draw this? How tall am I in comparison to a light post? What actually is the height of a car compared to my eyesight? The daily highlight makes you a better observer, and over time, you'll start to remember things more and more and notice the details in real life that make a drawing like this so amazing. The second lesson I learned is for anybody who hates drawing boxes. If you want to see improvements in your drawing from imagination, you need to contextualize your basic forms. Learning to draw boxes and cylinders is only as important as the things you apply them to. As you've probably experienced, it's boring, to just draw a bunch of cylinders and boxes, but it's also not helpful if you don't apply them to an image. Basic forms are like alphabets to objects, which are like words. There's no real point just learning the alphabets without putting them into words. And when we draw basic forms like this, sure, we're learning how to write our alphabets, but they don't really matter if you don't know how to put these things into words. So when you practice your basic forms, contextualize them. Don't draw floating boxes. Instead, try exercises where you contextualize boxes together. 2 boxes in the same space is so much more helpful than 1 box floating in a vacuum. So try exercises like box stacking, box rotation. Now, if you struggle with these, that's totally fair because these are not easy concepts to understand. And I learned a lot about how to do this from Antonio Staparts, who is the CEO of ArtWad, which is the sponsor of this video. If you know anything about ArtWad, then you know it is the place to go if you want to learn how to draw from your imagination. Because every lesson from the absolute basics of perspective to the complex topics of architecture and anatomy are all taught through the form-first fundamentals that I've just mentioned. Through full-length video demos from Antonio Staparts, you learn everything about basic form rotations, spatial awareness, and all the form manipulations you need to draw whatever you want. Now, learning on your own isn't easy, which is why ArtWad is built through roadmaps. They're basically structured lessons in order of difficulty so that you can pick up complex topics like anatomy in the order that makes sense and doesn't overwhelm you. This is actually where I learned about deconstruction and using basic forms to understand the complex human body. Now, ArtWatt's got so much more than just roadmaps. They've got daily exercises, they've got drawing prompts, and you can even do all these exercises within the app itself. So if you want to make 2026 the best year for your art, then ArtWatt is there to help you, and they're offering a major discount on their year-long premium membership with my link in the description. So happy learning, and let's get to point 3, which is to study the scale, not detail. That's a pretty epic rhyme, so it's true. If you want to be able to draw from your imagination, memorize the proportions of things before you memorize the details of them. And that's because details don't matter if the proportions are wrong. For example, even though I blurred out this photo, you can still tell that it's a person, and that's because it's proportioned like a person. But if I was to draw a person with all the wrong proportions, it wouldn't be a person anymore. It might be a troll or an elf. So how do you actually practice this? Well, when I go outside and observe things, I try to focus on the proportion between certain objects. And I make a scale guide like this. I look at other people and compare them to the heights of cars, and compare the cars to the heights of trash cans, and compare the trash cans to the height of stop signs or streetlights. By building out a scale reference like this, when I draw scenes from my imagination, I have an understanding of not the details, but the proportions relative to each other. And as I draw more from my imagination, I've turned away from drawing things in detail like this and more towards scenes like this, where you use the basic forms to your advantage and try to depict scenes, because the more detail you use, the less you can remember. So if you memorize things in basic volumes, you can start building out more and more scenes, and these are actually the things that help you draw scenes more effectively. Now, of course, when you get comfortable with this, you can move to more complex drawings like this, but this is not possible without an underlying understanding of this. It's the structure that matters more than anything else, and you practice that by looking at proportion first. Guys, I need your help. I want to make more videos. I want to make them better. I want to make them bigger, but I can't do it alone. So if you're an editor and you want to work with me, please sign up in the link in my description, and maybe we'll work together. If you're not an editor, you can find the subscribe button in the link in the description, and that would be awesome too. Or the like, whatever. Just click buttons, not the one that does this. Anyway, thanks guys. Let's get back to the video. And that brings us to lesson 4, which is to study the masters to learn faster. I seriously underrated the value of master studies for a long time, until taking a mentorship with Authoro, where I found out that he spends 1 week of the year studying the work of Kim Jung Gi, just doing straight copies. And you can see that he clearly knows how to draw. This is so necessary because drawing from imagination isn't learning to memorize the world. Sure, that's an element, but you also need to learn how to expand beyond the world and create new creatures and design things that don't exist. And to do that, you'd be wise to study from the best to ever do it. So this exercise looks like finding an image from an artist that you admire and simply trying to understand it better. Now, the goal isn't to draw it one for one. It's to understand, what are they doing? Pick an element like the clothing folds, or the anatomy of the tiger, or the composition. As you draw it, think about these things and try to simplify for yourself what the pros have figured out that we don't yet know. As you make this a habit, not only will you learn so much more, but your drawings will have a better sense of appeal because you're slowly absorbing the style of all these artists. And this also means for any books you have, like anatomy books, just copy the drawings in the book. You will learn so much from just copying what's in the book. The more you learn how to do it like the artists you admire, the better you will get. And then you can learn to implement that into your own work. Now, the final point is one that I didn't appreciate for a long time, but should save you so much stress, and it's the value of patience. Drawing from imagination is not an easy thing to do. You're not just drawing what you see, you're trying to memorize everything around you to create worlds from a blank piece of paper. That should not be easy, and it cannot be done in a short amount of time. Every artist I talked to at Lightbox just a few weeks ago told me that things will take longer than you think it will. Dong Ho Kim, Boyan, and Gabriel Quinn all said the same thing. You need to be patient. Day to day, recognize that exercises you're doing should not be measured one by one. You should measure your volume in hundreds. How many hundreds of portraits have you drawn? How many hundreds of drawings from imagination have you drawn? Measure in hundreds, because you're not going to see that much change between the first and 10th drawing you make. But you will see a lot of change between the first 100th and the second 100th. So if you want to not get frustrated, recognize that things are going to take longer than you think. You make much less progress in a week than you hope, but much more progress than you can imagine in a year. And that's because learning is like a staircase. It's not this upward line. It's more like a flat line of plateau and frustration until something breaks. You realize something, you watch something, and it helps you. And then there's a jump. And then it's a plateau again. And then you realize another thing, and it's a jump. Drawing what you want is not going to be a 2-year journey. It's not going to be a 3-year journey. It's probably going to be a 10-year journey. And if you can expect it, then you'll improve a lot faster than you think. And I want to help you on your journey to drawing whatever you want. So here's a free book on drawing exercises that'll help you draw from your imagination. You can get it in the link in the description, absolutely free, where you can also sign up for ArtWad if you want to accelerate your learning even more. This is actually a sequel to the video I did last year on the same topic with different points. So check that out if you want to learn more about drawing from imagination. And I appreciate you guys watching until now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, and Happy New Year. Bye.